Hello everyone, my name is Ashley Rose Johnson, and today I'm going to be presenting the case study, Coca-Cola in Africa. Our agenda includes an introduction to the case study, an explanation on how Coca-Cola can leverage their resources and capabilities, the political, legal, and economic issues that need to be investigated when entering a new global market, and finally, the ethical and cultural issues that Avon must consider when choosing a new market. Introduction to Coca-Cola in Africa. Coca-Cola was founded in 1892, but it wasn't until 1929 that it first entered Africa. Africa was commonly seen as a backwater country, but recently it has become a major growth market that has caught strategic attention. Between 2010 and 2020, Coca-Cola invested $27 billion into the emerging economies. Of that $27 billion, they put $12 billion into Africa alone. Many people were wondering why Coca-Cola was so committed to Africa, and it's purely because of the push and pull effect. The push comes from the necessity to find new sources of growth, while the pull comes from Africa itself, where Coca-Cola has a 29% market share versus Pepsi's 15%. The company hopes to capitalize on Africa's new and improved political stability and physical infrastructure. Coca-Cola in Africa. Coca-Cola is already located in all African countries. Their goal is to now step into every town, village, and township, but it's not going to be easy. The difficulties stem from war, poverty, and poor infrastructure, which also causes obstacles in distributing the products to regions that are hard to access. Coca-Cola conducts street-by-street campaigns to increase awareness of the consumption of their product. The U.S. obesity accusations are not active in Africa, where the country's concern is that there aren't enough calories available. Instead of obesity critics, they accuse the company of depleting the fresh water and encouraging expensive and environmentally harmful refrigeration. The local competitors who are in the beverage market are also at risk. In contrast to the critics' view, there are benefits that the company brings to Africa. Coca-Cola has created over 65,000 jobs for the country, and it has become one of the largest private employers in the continent. Coca-Cola did not outsource leaders to run the distribution centers. They wanted them to all be run by the locals. The former CEO of Coca-Cola, Mr. Kent, discussed the company's growth in Africa in a CNN interview. He said, "The rate of growth in Africa is higher than that of Western markets, and also other parts of the world, so it'll continue to become a larger and larger part of our revenue." The growth of Pepsi in Africa can be seen as a negative thing for Coca-Cola, especially with Pepsi growing operations in Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya. For Coca-Cola, Kent welcomes the competition, and he sees the benefit it has for everyone. The competition creates a better environment for the company and the environment for the consumer. How can Coca-Cola leverage their resources and capabilities? The first way they can leverage is with scarcity. Resources and capabilities that are widely available cannot be used as competitive advantage if everyone has access to them. For their resource and capabilities to be scarce, they have to not be so easily available for others. Coca-Cola must make sure that their resources and capabilities are scarce in order to gain leverage. Another way Coca-Cola can gain leverage is with immobility. For Coca-Cola to be immobile, others cannot have access to it without permission. In 2015, Coca-Cola was ranked as the third most valuable brand. Competitors tried to make a beverage that looked and tasted just like it, but they were unsuccessful because they will never have the brand name of Coca-Cola. Unless they are able to use the brand name, their efforts to remake the drink will continue to be a waste of time. What political, legal, and economic issues need to be investigated when choosing to enter a new global market? Before a business can expand to a new global market, there's a few things to consider, the first being culture. Cultural differences can determine the success of a business. If the product or service being offered doesn't provide value or desire to the local market, the move then becomes unnecessary. It's important that a deep understanding of the community and its values is made before entering a new global market. When going global, never underestimate the effects of cultural differences. Pursuing this new venture requires time, investigation, and a thorough understanding of the culture. Legal and regulatory barriers must also be investigated when choosing to enter a new global market. It's important to find overseas counsel to prevent the company from overstepping any laws and regulations. Counsel can also assist with any immigration and employment laws that are in place. Hazards can be avoided with counsel since they are already familiar with all of the given laws overseas. Another important issue for the new global market is to understand local government. This includes foreign exchange rates, access to any necessary resources and materials, available transportation and communication options, the offering of protection policies for businesses, access to affordable capital, and any government assistance programs that is offered for businesses. Responding to challenges and adversities with different strategies must also be investigated in order to enter a new global market. The first strategy is to perform a market study. A market study will give you a better understanding of the personality, economic feasibility, trends, cost patterns, and market forecasts. Studying the financial feasibility will help to evaluate if the new market makes financial sense. With intellectual property and trademark protection, firms can make sure that the government authorities recognize and protect the business' proprietary needs. Creating a partnership and liaison relationship should also be investigated. Having a local partnership with an existing client or a supplier can be beneficial to the business. What ethical and cultural issues does Avon need to consider when choosing a potential new marketplace? When the beauty brand Avon wants to enter a new marketplace, there are certain ethical and cultural issues they must consider. One of the cultural considerations is material culture. Avon must recognize what materials a location allows for businesses to use locally. Next are the cultural preferences. Each international market has preferences. There are different meanings to shapes, colors, and features in different cultures. Before Avon enters a new market, they should ensure that their packaging, labeling, and product design is significant to the culture. Languages are different all over the world. For Avon, a communication barrier will result in a slow and efficient business. It's important that the marketing, advertising, and other forms of communication are conducted in the appropriate language. One of the major cultural influences is religion. Avon must consider the religious views in the potential new market. For example, different beauty products might be banned in certain societies or even conducting sales during certain holidays. Some of the top ethical issues that Avon must consider include outsourcing, the working standards and conditions, workplace diversity and equal opportunities, human rights, and religion. There are certain business-focused ethical considerations Avon needs to consider as well. Avon is expected to comply with federal and state safety regulations, environmental laws, and any fiscal or monetary reporting statutes. Thank you all for watching. Please feel free to leave any questions in the comments section below.